This is Kali Ma for Sonic Zen, and I am at the Anand Ashram, haven for spiritual travellers on the beautiful island of the gods, Bali, and I am having a conversation with Swami Krishna Anand, and we've been talking about meditation 24/7, how to bring meditation into every aspect of your life. So good morning.
Good morning.
So we were talking last about having sacred space, about being able to turn off, and that it wasn't always laziness if we were just still. We didn't have to be sitting cross-legged meditating, but we could be just looking at a leaf or letting our mind just be omnipresent.
Yes.
So I wonder how we could talk about bringing that into everything in our everyday life a little more.
Yeah, in the Hindu scriptures, we have got some checkpoints, and the checkpoint is, first of all, it is either Shreya or Preya. Now, this has been used in Upanishad, in Bhagavad Gita. What you are doing is for a noble cause or just for your own pleasure. So that is the first discretion. Here, discrete. What I'm doing, it is for a noble cause, for the good of many, or it is just for my own benefit. If it is for your own benefit, then you cannot really apply meditation there. It is a reaction kind of thing. You do things for your family, you do things, and those things are to be done also.
I wonder if you can, though. I'm being the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're doing something for your own pleasure. I don't mean some hideous sort of thing, but if you're doing something for your own pleasure, maybe that is for a noble cause. Maybe it's making you be a better person.
It can be, it can be. Now, the thing is, when we say prayer in Sanskrit, it is for the sense gratification. What gratification is the word, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is purely for senses. Like I'm making love just to have sex.
Yes.
That is called prayer. But if there's something else beyond that sex, there's some love, there's some feeling of togetherness, feeling of oneness, then the same act, the very same act of even fostering your children can be either prayer or shreya. If I'm bringing
Priya, P-R-I-Y...
P-R-E.
Okay,
P-R-E-Y-A, prayer, P-R-E-Y-A, and shreya is S-H-R-E-Y-A. So it is prayer if I want to have a child, I want to bring up my child just to become a photocopy of mine, photostate copy of mine, and because I didn't become, I was not fortunate enough to become a doctor, so now my son must be a doctor. Whether he likes it or no, he has to go for medical school. So this is prayer. But if I am fostering, I am bringing up my children and their potential, or I'm helping them to bring out their potential, it can become shreya, because then you're doing for the larger benefit of mankind, actually. And that child, when he is bringing up his potential, he is going to be contributor towards humanity. But if he is just following my wish because I wanted to become a doctor, and now I force my child to become a doctor, and maybe he wanted to become something else, he'll not be a good doctor.
And you know what, we think that, well, I'm thinking, it doesn't happen, but it happens all the time.
It happens, yes.
Especially when I work in Singapore, and I work with young people, maybe they're not so young, maybe in 20s to mid-30s, and so many of them are doing exactly what their parents wanted them to do.
Yes.
And they're not happy.
And the worst thing here in places like Indonesia, if you don't have money, you have to go for the government school, the government colleges, the government universities. And there you are competing with thousands of children. So you want to become a doctor, okay? You want to become. But you have to compete with 6,000, 8,000 others in the same area. And finally they say, okay, you cannot be selected for this, but you can be selected for something else. And then you'll end up taking that course because you have no money to pay for the private school.
Well, do you know that happens everywhere? It's happening in the West as well. Because they have to reach a certain amount of scores, which I can understand. But, you might get this really super intelligent doctor, so intelligent. But it doesn't mean that this guy whose IQ
Yeah.
wasn't as high
Yeah.
and didn't do as well as
Yeah.
at school
Yeah.
may not have the passion
Exactly.
and the love to
Exactly.
be and the compassion to be a doctor. He might be the best
Right.
doctor the world has ever
Right.
known
Right.
and not be the brightest spark in the universe.
Exactly. But if the same person who wanted to become a doctor and his passion was there, and now he ends up becoming a businessman, or he becomes an electrician, a mechanic or technician, he's not good at that job because his mind is not there, his heart is not there.
No.
So we are actually creating problem for the society.
I know that when I work with
Mm-hmm.
people, I believe their soul energy comes in with certain rays of energy.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
like there's the ray of the carer, the ray of the teacher,
Right.
the ray of the communicator. Some people have a little bit of everything
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
very lucky.
True.
But that's not taken into account, is it, even in the
Exactly.
education system?
That's not taken into account, and that's where people like us actually we have to contribute more in that, because there have to be some certain options. Okay, you don't become a doctor, but you can become a healer.
Yes.
Those options we can start providing them, and we have to educate the parents also. Okay, your son doesn't become a doctor, it's not the end of the world, and he can do something else, alternative medicine or complementary medicine.
Reminds me of a joke.
Yeah.
There's this old Jewish woman,
Yes.
and she's sitting at the inauguration of her son, of the president. And she's sitting there in the front row, and her son's getting inaugurated, and
Yeah.
everyone's all dressed up in their
Yeah.
finery.
Yeah.
And she turns around, and she elbows the lady
Yeah.
next to her. She says, "This is my son, but my other son, he's a doctor."
Right. So being president is second grade.
So when we're talking about this, and like maybe karmic yoga,
Yeah.
the thing like cleaning the
True,
toilet,
true.
washing up the dishes, these can all be done. How would you suggest people
Yes.
work this way?
Yeah, another thing is the other checkpoint beside Priya Shriya is Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Now Satyam
You have to talk a little slower. Satyam.
Satyam is truth.
Truth,
So
yeah.
you are honest, your whole attention is there. You are not doing it because you are told to do, but you actually are into it. So you have to be honest with yourself. And Shivam is auspicious, so it has to be for a good purpose. If somebody tells you to kill, it's not a good purpose. So it has to be auspicious. You have to be truthful. And Sundaram, beauty. It has to be beautiful. You have to keep the place beautiful. This is the checkpoint. We were talking about our friend, professor, psychiatrist, Professor Suryani. When she came here first time, the first thing she said, "I'm so happy to see there's a place in Bali which is kept so beautiful." Because most of the temples, sometimes they are not taken care of and they're so dirty, It's only taken care of during the ritual time. And even then...
So it's like my chant, truth, love, knowledge is light.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So beauty is something that is... There was an English saying, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Somebody else said
It's
that,
lovely,
yeah.
isn't it? A thing
It's
of beauty
beautiful,
is a
yeah.
joy forever.
Forever, yeah. So once you are in a state, in a place where it is beautiful, actually you are connected with the internal beauty, the beauty inside you, within you, and the beauty outside. Everything is so beautiful if you look at it.
So we'll keep going. So about bringing the yoga into Satyam,
Shivam Sundaram.
Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Beautiful. So how to bring that into everyday life?
Yeah, first of all, like everyday life, you have to be truthful. What you are doing, you really want to do it or not.
Yes, being present to it.
Being present.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Don't do it. Try to find something else.
Yeah.
The thing is now we are geared to think, okay, if I become a sweeper, I don't make much money. I would rather work in McDonald's. Something like that,
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have to sweep, but you are good at sweeping. You are good at sweeping, and then you are not good at serving people, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I know that myself. Sometimes I put off. We don't have people
Yeah.
sweeping, and we
Yes.
have to do it all.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So sometimes I put off a job, and I just put it off, and I
Yeah.
put it off,
Yeah.
and then I make up my mind. I'm going to do that now, and I think I actually quite enjoy it when I do it.
Yes.
Then I think, and it goes so quickly. I think,
Yeah.
why on earth was I putting this off?
Yes.
I finished this in 3 hours, and look how wonderful everything looks. Why was my head in so much resistance to doing this?
Right. Yeah.
Answer me.
No, it's conditioning.
We all do it, don't we?
We all do it. It's conditioning. It's especially in a country like this. I mean, in the West or in Australia, it's not that bad. But in a country like this, I give an example of my daughter when she got married and she had to move to Spain. It was kind of, like a different life altogether because she has to do everything herself. And here you're so used to servants.
Yes.
Each household can have 2 or 3 servants. Sometimes those who can afford it, 4 members of family and they can afford servants. So, used to that kind of life for her.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. And yet you can find so many households. This ashram, we don't have a servant. We don't have a single servant. All of them are volunteers, so we are relying on them and we all are working together. But yes, in this country, we are so used to so much condition that we think that to sweeping is very menial or very not a respectable job or something.
It goes right back to where we started a few episodes ago, is that the energy that a word has. Who says the word sweeping like it was a love word? Sweeping,
yes.
And they say, got to get this, sweeping.
Exactly.
It's like the words have been almost hypnotised themselves.
Yes.
I think like even the word work.
Yes.
The word work has had such bad press. So I always try to put in livelihood. And people say to me, when are you going to retire from your work? Well, why would anyone want to retire from doing what they love doing? If you love what you're doing, you're never going to retire, are you?
True.
Would you think of retiring?
Never. And look at this different mentality and different conditioning. You remind me of the word tukang masak here. Tukang masak is cook, So we don't have the tradition of saying chef. We don't have a word for chef. It's always cook. And cook is a menial job, is a small job.
Yet now we have all these master chefs.
Yes. So
if you watch Australian television or see the books that are out.
And they get paid more handsomely than
movie stars.
And they don't have to go through colleges to get paid so much, But we are coping up with that kind of situation here, where somebody wants to become a chef and the parents say, what? You want to become tukang masak? It's a dishonor for the family.
In a way, it's showing us the conscious movement is actually seeping through everything when you think about it, because people have so long wanted their children to be so educated and have their law degree or their medical certificate or whatever. But now the people that are earning the most money are not university graduates. They're like pop stars and actors and chefs.
Yes.
It's like over the throne the system.
Right. Yeah. And this is how how many doctors you need?
Yeah.
How many doctors you need? You need more chefs than doctors.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, food is the greatest healer.
Exactly.
Food that's made with beautiful karmic love put into it. When you eat out sometimes, especially being strict vegetarian, you go to a restaurant and your food is presented to you, and it looks magnificent. It's got all the little juice and stuff all around. Everything looks beautiful and fresh, and you eat it, and afterwards I feel sick. And I think, well, that chef was probably just had a fight with his wife, or he just maybe got his tax bill.
Yes.
And it's gone straight into the food. So now we get to being meditative again when we eat. It's like we need to bless our food and check out what we're eating. You can't work on looks alone.
I wrote a chapter in my latest book in Indonesian. Of course, Indonesian again. I wrote a book on a chapter on that to bless the food. To bless the food. In Sanskrit, they've got mantras taken from Bhagavad Gita. It's Brahma, Param, Brahma, Havir, Brahma. So it neutralizes the effect of the person who is cooking the food, because you cannot really know. Even in the ashram setting like this, sometimes we don't have any cook here who is cooking for us. But if we have a cook, you cannot really control his emotion at the time
Of course
cooking.
not.
So there are mantras, again, there are mantras for that reason,
Yeah.
to purify the food and to bless the food. That's a very good habit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like even an action like washing up the dishes,
Yes.
cooking,
Yes.
sweeping, all these can be meditative acts.
All.
How would you suggest to people to become more present to what they're doing?
Well, I think, personally, I don't have any instant solution for non-meditators. But I think once you start meditating, and I'm such a staunch believer in the fact that you have been meditating for just 21 days for beginner, just 21 days without any
21
gap.
days for 21 minutes per day.
Yeah, you become meditative. All your actions become meditative. You start thinking more deeply into matter of things. You know, what I've been doing, what my work is it right for me? You know, you start thinking about those things, and this is why I always say that after 21 days you become very Galisa, you become very anxious, you become very not depressed, but you become very thoughtful. What is happening? Where should I change my lifestyle? Where should I change my pattern? And that's how sometimes you become mismatched in your family. Because you are meditating and your family is not meditating, and they say, well, what's happening to this guy? What's happening to my
It
son?
can cause quite a lot of disruption
Yes.
on the seesaw, can't it?
Exactly, exactly.
But it all comes to balance again, because I think when someone is in the family meditating,
Yes. Yeah.
if they can not drop their denomination
Yeah.
down to the lower
Yeah.
denomination, and that's not saying that people aren't meditating, aren't
Yeah.
good or whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like that, but it's not what I mean. It's the vibration.
The vibration.
Don't
The
drop their
vibration.
frequency
Yes.
back down.
Yeah.
I believe the frequency always uplifts, but I always think it's a bit like 2 steps forward and 1 step back anyway, don't you?
Yes, but it is how we maintain this. Because what happens is, sometime I see that this has been the problem in a country like this. A child, a youngster comes and he wants to meditate. Okay, he goes back and his family doesn't approve of his coming to ashram. So he has to wear a mask. In the ashram is quite good, and back home he tries to adopt to their ways of thinking and ways of doing things. Now this is doing the thing you said, that 1 step forward and 2 steps backward. It is how to maintain your meditativeness and in fact prove it to your family that as a meditator I'm a better person.
Yeah, and then the family's
They
frequency
get
starts to
uplifted.
uplift.
Yes, because they are not blind. I mean, everybody wants to uplift themselves. It's just that they have not had any chance, and they don't have any idea that there is another possibility. It's just to provide another possibility. That's our job, actually, to make them see that, look, there is another possibility of doing things. And
even when you're saying this, it makes me think too that the person that is meditating or is meditative, when they start to do their what we call trivial chores, is putting this new energy into everything they do. So they sweep this floor, and they sweep it as a service.
Right.
And the next person that walks across that floor, as their feet fall upon the floor, they're picking up that energy.
True.
True. The love comes up through the soles of their feet. Absolutely. They don't realise that they're getting it, but they'll start to feel more harmonious anyway.
Absolutely. I mean,
eating that food
I mean, living in this ashram, this is not very convenient or comfortable for Western standard, but people still come and would like to stay in this ashram. I think this is all due to the volunteers working around and with all the love they have. They may not be able to converse with you because they don't speak good English, but the feeling, the vibes are affecting all of us here.
Oh, that's really beautiful. I lost my track of thought again. Yeah. So what we're talking about is that energy that comes from the being in a meditative place. Yeah. And I believe that if people are only meditating with their eyes closed, well, there's only two, they're either sitting in that for that 21 minutes or hour or so, the energy is still with them, but learning to meditate with your eyes open is very important, don't you think?
That is the whole idea of meditation. 21 minutes with eyes closed is just a beginner's thing, it's just to trigger the consciousness. But once you are into that meditative state of being, then like the title of our program is 24/7. So you cannot be closing your eyes 24/7.
Because that's when
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
awake.
Exactly, you're awake. That is the.
And you
the
can be
test.
awake when you're asleep as well.
Yes. This is what in Bhagavad Gita is said, that a yogi is awake when people of the world are asleep. Actually, a yogi is awake to those truths of which people of the world are asleep. So, yes, it's consciousness, awareness, a wakefulness. It's a constant wakefulness.
It's really the truth of who we are.
Yes, and your dreams reduce by leaps. You don't dream so many dreams anymore, and that shows that you are in meditative state.
Beautiful. I think we'll finish off here. Thank you, Swami.